Mythology has truly fascinated men and women for hundreds and hundreds of years. Generally, the stories conclude in tragedy, or the divinities that are showcased appear to be cruel and cold. There seems to be a blurring regarding what truly is a god and what really is human. However, the divinities want piety from their human underlings. So why were mythological tales shared and what was their meaning? It was once believed that mythological stories really had no factual groundwork and were completely imaginary. It's now acknowledged that several of the stories use a factual origin. The facts are changed over time and the people of the past are made to be better and more powerful than the people of today. Mythological tales were told in oral traditions, they weren't written down for many centuries. Over hundreds of years, storylines would certainly be modified to suit the audience of the time. Herodotus, an ancient Greek historian of the 5th century B.C., who has a really interesting curriculum vitae, noticed that the stories of the great mythological heroes may differ based on which location or also country he was in. Homer shows the shade of Herakles in hell and confesses that his immortal godly self is at the same time feasting in the heavens. Homer was combining different variations of the death of Herakles directly into his own tale telling. In earlier versions of the fable, Herakles would pass away and go to hell and a witless shade, the same as other human men and women did. In later versions of the fable, Herakles actually became immortal as he perished. His shade didn't need to go into the underworld, but it still does in Homer's version of the tale, most likely because the audience expected that well-known part of the story to be included along with the new immortal Herakles, even if it makes no sense. The gods are generally an important part of ancient mythology, especially in Greek mythology. They're truly immortal, powerful individuals with all the failings of humans. Quite a few stories have a poor conclusion for the mortals within, and mostly because they have not proven the deference towards the gods that they demanded of common men and women. Baucis and Philemon were actually the only individuals in their small village who weren't killed by Zeus and Hermes. Their neighbors had turned the divinities, who were all disguised as beggars, from their houses. This was an offense toward the divinities because of very bad hospitality. Xenios was a location ruled over by Zeus, king of the divinities, and his boy Hermes. No mercy is shown for the town and everybody is killed. Philemon and Baucis escaped the misfortune of their neighbors simply because they allowed the gods into their house, even though they were very poor themselves and offered them hospitality.